Imagine me not grabbing the metal when the enemy's meddling. My mental is telling me this is murder one through melody.
Rebel on the pedal since I balance on a bicycle. They're supplying me and my per diem. I don't die simple. Love is all you need. It's only me as I survive. Hustle always on the grind. I'm playing mine with divine structure.
Ooh, I'm a rebel, mashing the pedal. Would you rather dance with the stars or dance with the devil?
Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Should be a pretty good live stream today. Pretty interesting. First of all, welcome, especially to those of you guys that watch on replay. Definitely appreciate you when you take the time out of your day to drop a like or a subscribe. That definitely helps me a lot. Back in the day, the way that my YouTube channel actually got pretty big was I did a live stream called Delphi This Week. So what I do is I type Delphi Murders into YouTube, and then I just pretty much go and look at all the stuff that's been uploaded this week. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're just going to hop right into it. Today is a call-in. If anybody wants to call in, I'd appreciate that. It doesn't matter what view you are, what side you are on, innocent, guilt, or if you don't even know about the case in general, feel free to call in and chat with me. Silas, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Louise, thank you for coming today. Definitely appreciate it. I hope you're doing really good. So, we are going to focus first on the videos that haven't gotten that many views. That's another reason my channel did so good back in the day, because this was a spot where we could all get together and look at all the different channels that have been talking about Delphi. And a lot of people get buried in the algorithm and don't get that much views. So that's what we're going to do. Delulu Bish's Blue Period. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Should be a good time. Should be a good time. So we're going to filter by view count. That is the magic right there. And by this week. Double check. View count this week. Perfect. Let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to keep scrolling until we get down to those who barely have any views. Could take a while. You never know. A lot of stuff gets buried pretty deep. See, we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's see here. I do got some eggs boiling in the background too. If I got to run and pick those up, it's better than having a house fire. Apparently, my wife's going to be here soon, so she should be able to get the eggs out. You guys ever seen Pineapple Express? Chill, dude. I got some fucking eggs boiling over here. Everything's okay. It's my favorite part of the movie by far. Okay, we're still scrolling. Still scrolling. Okay. I think we've almost hit the end, guys. We're almost there. Yep, we're down to no views. No views. Let's see here. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. Marissa, welcome. Always so happy to see you. Hope you're doing good. Hope the family's doing good. Please tell them that I said hello. We're sending the good vibes heavy. Son of a bitch. Are you kidding me? You can't. Can you do that? Can you put eggs in the air fryer? You're just joking. You have to be. Silas, you smart bastard. You're either trying to get me to burn my house down or you found like the best life hack I've heard in my life. We're getting off topic. Okay. I don't know about these shorts. I'm getting kind of nervous about to click on stuff over here. You gotta be shitting me. Son of a bitch. Silas? Alright. Justice or cover up? What happens next will be a shock. Truth Seekers, True Crime. Who are these guys? 14 subs, 73 videos. It looks like they do a lot of true crime. Definitely not just a Delphi channel. The unfortunate thing is, just by the title, you know, let's go ahead and see. Let's give it a go.
It all begins.
It's an AI video. I don't know if I can do this. Psych. Let's go ahead and go. Give me a second here. We'll find a video. Don't worry. That's another thing about looking for videos like this. You get a lot of trash. A lot of trash. Let's see here. What filter am I using? I just type Delphi Murders and then I filter by this week and view count. If you're talking about my camera, no filter, baby. I'm filterless. You can see my forehead wrinkles. You can see my bald spot. I don't got to pretend like I'm Zac Efron over here. Unlike some people, sleuthy goosey. Okay, we got one. Lucy Mae Pearson. What does she do? We've only got 2 videos. Looks like we might be able to give her a push, guys. Go check out Lucy Mae Pearson. She covered the disappearance of Brian Schaefer. You guys remember that missing persons case? Pretty freaking wild. God, yeah, we went over it a couple times. That was nuts. But here we're going to watch her video about Delphi. So let's see what her insight is, yeah?
Personally, to me, I just don't think it makes sense that the person who was found unalive.
Uh-oh. We can't do it. Her volume is too low. Can you guys hear? I'll play. Tell me if you can hear or not.
Personally, to me, I just don't think it makes sense that the person who was found that unalive in this case,
I can't hear shit.
18-year-old and 14-year-old girls, didn't match the profiles that were created when the DNA testing took place. Hi everybody, welcome back to Sinister Saturdays. Today I will be talking about the case of the Delphi Murders whilst doing my makeup. So
The Delphi
we're
Murders.
going to talk about the victims and the setting around where
It is, isn't it? We're gonna. Oh, she's doing her hair too. Been there. Thank you for letting me know, V. Yeah, it looks like it's just too low to hear, or else I would love to play this. Hybrid, so good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. Polly says, Poopy Lucy. It's a Screwsy Lucy, because her screws are loose. Lucy Screwsy Lucy with a Poopy Lucy. What am I doing here? Kathy, welcome. Kathy's Crime Corner, you guys. Go ahead and give a like and a sub over there. Excellent. Kathy has a Facebook group where she does true crime in her city. It has 8,000 followers on there. So let's go give her some support on YouTube. That would be just fantastic. Okay, let's get back out of here. We're going to find a video. I think there was a guy named Ben something. Might be. Here we go. This is it. This is the one. Obscura Mysteries.
If you're a fan of history.
Sounds really AI to me. And again, it looks like they also cover a lot of true crime, not just a Delphi channel. We're going to watch it, though. If it's AI, who cares? We got 7 minutes of this. Let's check it out.
Imagine walking down a quiet, secluded trail. The wind rustles through the trees and there's no one in sight. But you're not alone. Lurking just out of view, watching, waiting. Someone with a dark, twisted agenda. This isn't just the plot of a thriller. This was the reality for 2 innocent girls in Delphi, Indiana. A mystery that's captivated the world. Who is the shadowy figure behind the Delphi murders, and what secrets are they hiding? Tonight, we're going deeper than ever before to uncover dark secrets, chilling theories, and the search for truth. Welcome to Obscura Mysteries. If you're into unraveling the most perplexing cases that give you goosebumps and leave you questioning everything you know, you've found your new favorite rabbit hole. Today, we're diving into the mystery of the Delphi murders. Buckle up.
Buckle up and pinch your nipples. That's what he should have said. Anyway, I just want to say hello to some of you guys. I saw, of course, Polly Walnuts. Who doesn't know Mr. Walnuts? Everybody does. No introduction needed. Polly, always a pleasure. Sim Doll, good to see you. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. We got Mr. Hamilton in the midst. What is up, dude? God damn, it's a pleasure to share the same first name with you. Scumbag Trav. You scumbag, you son of a bitch. I haven't seen you in so long. Holy crap, it's good to see you, Nick. Hope you are well. You too, man. You too. AI content feels like so soulless, not really engaging. Yeah, it's kind of tough. It depends on the information that comes with it. I've seen some channels are pure AI, and I like them actually. Just kind of depends, I guess. Christine, happy that you're here. Thank you so much for coming. Always a pleasure. Patty, happy Friday. Right back at you. Thanks, guys. I heard about a Roblox Delphi video as well. I don't know what that was all about, honestly. Probably just some bored people being trolls, maybe. All right. Let's go. Let's keep going.
All right, so let's set the stage. It's February 13th, 2017. 2 best friends, Liberty German and Abigail Williams, are enjoying an afternoon hike on the Monon High Bridge. But by the next day, their bodies are tragically found nearby. Who did this and why? This case has baffled experts and armchair detectives alike for years. The eerie thing is, Liberty, wise beyond her years, captured video and audio of their suspected killer right before their deaths. And yet, years went by with no concrete arrests. So what gives? We've all seen it, the blurry, grainy image of the man on the bridge guy, they call him. But let me ask you this. How can someone so obvious just vanish into thin air? It's like something straight out of a horror movie where the villain blends perfectly into the background, right? It's as if he knew exactly what he was doing. He was calm, he was collected, and when you hear him say those chilling words, "down the hill," it's clear he's in control. But was he alone?
I agree that he was definitely in control. Um, it's only my opinion that he was alone. I assume so, but I guess we'll see if there really was any more people. Only time will tell. I kind of doubt it now. I always thought there was more than one person, but Jamie, good to see you. What's up, Jamie? I'll be frank. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in here, guys. Yeah, I don't know what this guy's perspective is, but I think he's about to get into it.
Could there have been someone else in the shadows that day, lurking, waiting? More on that in a bit. Okay, let's shift gears for a second. Imagine you're a detective. You've got a crime scene in the middle of nowhere, down by a creek in rugged terrain. How would you know where to go to commit such a crime if you weren't familiar with the area? A lot of people believe the killer had to be a local, someone who knew that trail like the back of their hand. It's like trying to hide a treasure, but only you know where the map leads. Could this person be someone who blended in with the community? Someone who could walk into town and never raise an eyebrow? That brings us to Richard Allen, a man who lived nearby, questioned briefly in the beginning, and then forgotten until now. Now, in today's digital age, the trails we leave aren't just physical, they're digital. Here's where things get even creepier. Investigators discovered that someone might have been luring Liberty and Abigail online, using a fake identity. Yep, the old catfish trick. It's like fishing, except this time, instead of catching fish, they were targeting innocent lives. Think about it. The girls could have been chatting with someone they thought they knew, maybe even meeting them on that trail. The question is, who was hiding behind that fake profile? And why did it lead to such a brutal end? Okay, now let's get into some of the wild theories. Some say the killer wasn't working alone. Others believe there's a larger conspiracy at play. Maybe it's someone powerful, someone with influence in Delphi who's being protected by a cover-up. Think about that for a second. Could someone high up in the community be shielding a monster? Sounds outlandish, maybe. But in a case with this many dead ends, anything's possible.
And when you generally say that, if somebody with a big, what do you call it? There's like the mayor or someone in law enforcement, someone with a lot of push and pull could be involved in this conspiracy. It makes you wonder when they say it like that. But if that's true, it can't just be them. If this was a big conspiracy, there would have to be more than one or two people who knew about it. It would have to be like a group of people. They wouldn't be able to keep that secret. That's just my opinion, but I just don't think that something like that would be possible without more information. Yeah, that's all I got on that.
What makes it even stranger is how little evidence has been released to the public. That leads many to believe there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. Are we dealing with a sadistic predator who's been hiding in plain sight for years? In 2022, things finally took a dramatic turn. A man named Richard Allen was charged with the murders. Yes, you heard that right. Richard Allen, a local resident, had been briefly questioned back in 2017, but wasn't considered a prime suspect until years later. This was a huge breakthrough. For the families, the community, and the countless people following the case, there was finally a glimmer of hope. But here's the kicker. This arrest only raises even more questions. Why did it take so long? Was there more to the investigation that we don't know about?
Whoa, there we go. Sim says, yeah, the grand conspiracy is far-fetched. 2 people possible, though. Totally agree. Yeah, it's a conspiracy thing. It just, you have to do mental gymnastics for it to be able to work. Jamie says the FBI is very suspicious in my book. Is in general or in this case, Jamie? In my opinion, the FBI was on the wrong track. I guess they believed Ron Logan's ex-girlfriend and they tried to pin the murder on Ron. In my opinion, they were off track the whole time. I always say these guys, they were always on a different page. No one ever really agreed as far as law enforcement goes, and then the department heads. Trav says, do I still have Discord? Yes, I do, and thank you for the compliment. Let me go ahead and someone could drop a link for you in chat, I think, for the Discord. Maybe Geek Mom might be able to do that, so we can have some people join if you want to. Let's see. Just looking through the chat, making sure I don't miss too much stuff. Yeah, I think we're good. Remember, guys, if you guys want to call in, feel free. Call in. Give me 5-10 minutes of your time. Don't want to go on super long, but you're always free to call in. This video is about over, and then we're going to move on to another one, so that's always good.
Could this be the resolution we've all been waiting for? Or is there still more to this twisted story? All right, let's take a breath. Here's what we know. There's the bridge guy, whose identity remains a mystery. The idea that the killer was local, with intricate knowledge of the area. The catfishing angle that could suggest a digital predator lured them in. And of course, the dark conspiracy theories involving multiple suspects or a cover-up. And of course, the arrest of Richard Allen, which offers hope, but leaves more questions in its wake. This case has haunted the minds of many. What makes it so unnerving is the sheer lack of answers. But with recent developments, we're inching closer to some form of resolution. Could Richard Allen be the final puzzle piece? Or is there something even more sinister lurking behind the shadows of Delphi?
You never know. I'd like to see that probable cause affidavit in full, wouldn't you guys? Because at that last press conference where they announced the arrest of Richard Allen, they were talking about that probable cause and how they didn't want to release it. And it makes you wonder why. Maybe there is some other information on there, but who really knows, honestly. I would like to say thank you to Obscura Mysteries for that wonderful video. It honestly wasn't that bad at all when you take into account that it was mostly AI. Yeah, definitely, I didn't mind that at all. So, we're going to scroll all the way back down. Police POV. This looks AI too. Maybe it's not. We'll check.
There's something about an old, abandoned bridge. Something about...
Yeah, that's too AI for me. We might be able to do 2 or 3 AI videos tops, but that's about it. Can't really do that to you guys. Let's see here. Alexis Knight investigates. Looks like she did a video on the interrogation or the interrogation itself. Let's check it out.
2 teenage girls never made it home. It would take 5 long years for detectives to...
Said there was...
Yeah, it's just the interview. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. It's quite a pain in the ass to find some good videos when you're in this deep in the search results. I saw this a couple days ago. I didn't watch it yet, but I thought, hey, this would be a great video for this show. It kind of reminds me of smaller channels giving their opinions on this case. So this here is Ben Dallas. Not sure what he does on his YouTube channel. It looks like he has been talking about Delphi for the last couple weeks, done a few videos on it. Other than that, he's done a couple missing people's cases, missing persons cases. He looks like your average run-of-the-mill true crimer. So let's go ahead and see what he thinks. This is his latest thoughts on the confession tapes.
All right, so
Not feeling really good here. But I don't know. I guess I was just kind of motivated to do this to a short video here. Um, I got a Delphi Murders topic here that I've been thinking of over the last couple of days. So, see how I want to say this here. All right. So, I suppose, everybody that follows this closely, you've watched the tapes and everything. You've watched where Richard Allen tells his wife, and what was it, his mother as well that he was talking to, that he tells them over and over again that he did it. He committed the crimes over and over again, and he's keeps wanting them to know that he did it, and no matter how many times they said to like stop and to say they kept on saying, no you didn't, no you didn't, they're getting to you, they did something to you. And then he keeps strong at it.
I like this guy already. He's made some great observations, and they might seem like um, common sense observations, but people are already out there saying he made false confessions, he's lying, he told it as it is. Richard Allen confessed multiple times, and he was crying out. He was begging that people would understand him and hear him confessing. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see what Ben thinks about that.
He keeps doubling down and saying, no, I did it. I did it. I want you to know that I did it. And all that. So how do the how is that not like strong evidence right there? How are you people that think that he's not guilty? How are you getting around that? How are you getting around that?
That's a good question. Great question. And most people just shout, he's lying, corruption, intimidation. But that was that's the most logical question I've ever heard. How do you get around that? How do you get around that he confessed that many times? Like I said, the only way that they could was by bringing in the Odinism theory and how the guards at the jail were Odinists and stuff. You can't really get away from that confession. You just can't. There's no way. What do you guys in the chat think? I'm pretty interested to see what you guys think.
Because none of what you're saying is making sense. Like, he's openly admitting that he did it. Like, just because he's been treated poorly in prison, and I don't think that's a big enough factor to confess that much all the time like that. I don't see it. I think that's it's too strong of a factor. I think that's too strong of evidence to that. So if he never did that, I would be much more inclined. I would be a lot more doubtful if he had not confessed like that to both his wife and I think the other lady was his mother.
And then not to mention his therapist, and it's kind of in the air, in my opinion, that he probably told his dad too. Just by the way he was talking to his wife and his mom about that phone call with his dad that we never heard. And if it's true, if he confessed 47 times, or 68, or 102, however many times he confessed, we only got to hear a little handful of them, right? We didn't get to hear too much. Sim says, when you ignore the confessions, it's just the vague car video and the shoddy bullet evidence. It's so weak. And I don't think those are the only two things other than the confessions that would point to his guilt, honestly. And I'd like to point out there's no other human alive that was at the trails at the same time who fits the criteria of being the murderer. It's only him, really. Let's see here. I agree. V. Marie says the frustration is crazy. Sim says solitary confinement can create some spectacular outcomes. Not completely convinced. Luis says he wasn't in solitary. It was safekeeping. And, he was definitely on suicide watch. You saw his mental state. The little bits that we have seen, he was put on suicide watch for a reason. And when you're on suicide watch, it is kind of like solitary confinement, except you're not even allowed to wear regular clothes. They don't give you something you could hang yourself with or poke yourself in the eye with, or they treat you like you're going to kill yourself and they try to protect you. Him being lonely and isolated, that's the truth. It's not supposed to be comfortable. It's not. He looked extremely remorseful and guilty to me, but Geek Mom says not just admitted it, but he also asked his wife and mom if they still loved him, and that's a step further than just a confession. Like I said, he was super guilty and remorseful, and he was pointed out many times how he was worried about what people were thinking about him. Polly says he sounds like he's trying to pour his soul to his wife and mom, and they just ain't having it. If he didn't kill two little girls, it's a sad exchange, really. A man dumping his heart out and no one cares. Which, that's true. Let's see here. V says, I don't think having tablets and calling is really solitary. Yeah, those are the little rights that he had that people can't take away. At least the phone calls. Not sure when he got a hold of a tablet, but I know that he wasn't on suicide watch for the whole time. He obviously got some privileges somewhere in there. Miracle Hearts, welcome. So glad you're here. Miracle says, I don't find his treatment any more unusual than other people in prison. That's what prison is. I agree with you 200%. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, he was begging them to believe his confessions. Cindy, yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's up with the dad phone call? Because, yeah, while he was trying to confess, he's like, did you talk to dad? He just keeps saying that in between confessions. Hybrid, he definitely did. Yeah. Delulu says it was a slam dunk, as I predicted. Let's see here. Frank says, if Alan's not bridge guy, then Rick Snay is. Paulie says, gives props to the prosecutor. Nick McClelland did a good job at laying it all out. Let's see here. The defense team manipulated a lot of people, including Kathy, in your opinion. Yeah, it does seem like that. I don't think that Kathy would have did certain things if it wasn't trying to protect her husband. I don't know. Cindy says, I want to know if he wrote anything in that Bible that he wanted one of the family members to have. Yeah, that's a little weird. Alrighty. Again, guys, go ahead and check him out. He looks like he has a good head on his shoulders. Mr. Ben Dallas at YouTube. Alrighty. So let's go back. We are going to go ahead and check out some more. Let's see what we got here. Goodness gracious. Doesn't make too much sense to me. Why are people still talking about Kelsey Derman, like, somehow being involved in the murder? It's either got to be you really hate the family, or you're like schizophrenic or something. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why they do that. It's kind of insane. The Bandit Network TV says The Magic Bullet and Richard Allen, Delphi. This is an hour long. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Another one that's an hour long. ASMR can't do that to you. TCT. Yep, jail calls. Delphi Psychic Channeling. Oh, geez. Last time I played a psychic channel on here, someone called in and showed me their penis. I'm not even lying. 1 minute, you're looking at a tarot reading. Next thing you know, someone's showing you their wiener. Okay. Yeah, I apologize for not watching all these. I just can't really. Spooky Silcocky says an open message to you, Doug Carter. Oh, geez.
And if we've got Doug Carter who's willing to crawl over hot glass for Jerry Holman, then Doug Carter, my question for you, what are you willing to do for Stephanie Thompson? What are you willing to do for Maya Thompson?
Doug Carter will never see that message, unfortunately. We're just going to keep going. The Delphi Murders, clerical error. Looks like our friend Cryptex did a short live stream. Didn't watch it yet, so let's see what he thought.
As you can see, there is no snow anymore. Winter is finally over. Let's talk about trends. So now the trend is to post long posts in the community page with a lot of words, like trying to convince you about things that are really not credible. So you can see posts like the Dandulin thing was a clerical error. Come on. When we have to use a lot of words to explain something simple, is because something is not okay. Something is missing. Some pieces are not fitting together. So there are posts it's like you are reading the Bible. It's never ending. Just trying to convince you about things like Dandulin situation. That was a clerical error.
See, Cryptex is one of the greatest minds that I've had a pleasure of meeting. Really smart guy. Honestly, a good person. And I see where he's coming from here. It was a huge mistake. And it was multiple times with multiple clerical errors in this case. And I just think that it happened so many times. There was so many pieces of information that were lost, that people are speculating on. And I don't think it's out of the realm for people to make these long posts, because there is a lot to explain. There's a lot of people that are attacking or are conspiring. They're latching on to these pieces of information that aren't even confirmed. We don't even know if they're true or not. So I think that's where the big long posts come from, is people trying to explain why something is or is not true. I think it's normal. I don't think it really has to mean anything big. Lynette, welcome. Have I ever watched Criminality VT with T and Sleuthy? Nope. No, I have not. Let's see, what else? You guys are good in the chat. You guys don't need me. I think that that's enough to kind of point out on that live stream with that Cryptex did. He was just kind of saying, if you have to use such a huge explanation for a clinical error, maybe there is something behind that. But I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate and saying, I can see why people would explain. It's because people want to know. So it is what it is. Carrie's Tours production. Looks like they just post the jail calls. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Find something interesting. Here's Sleuth Intuition. He just posted a short from Richard Allen's interview. I was in a black car or silver car, whatever that means. Let's see what you guys think.
From that time until just earlier this year, I drove the gray car and she drove the black car. Now, if I was going somewhere out of town, a lot of times I would use the black car, depending on how far we're going. The gray car was dependable, but it's just one of those where the longer, I guess, more recently, I started driving, if I was going to go to Lafayette or something for an appointment or whatever, I'd take the black car just because it's more dependable and she works. But anyway, and then from during that time period, I drove the gray Ford 500 and she would drive the black car, had her little cat license plate and all that on it. And then when I got her a van, the gray car pretty much had it. And it's either, I had that and a truck as well. I had a truck for, 3-4 years. I bought it used and we didn't drive it hardly ever. And it was one of those where get rid of them while they're still worth something. So we traded them both in and I got the van that she drives now. And then I went back to driving black car. So
I remember you said you had gone to Miami County to see your mom.
Mexico.
What do you guys think? Did it seem to you like he was minimizing the fact that he drove that black car, the Focus? It seemed, see there, to Delulu, it seems like he's over-explaining here, and I think we could both be right in that. I think he was over-explaining, the truck in the white car and how he does all that, but he just quickly glanced by the black car, trying to minimize, trying to underplay that part of it. And then how he changes to me. He did that a lot. Cindy says, why the change of date on the True Crime Maria and Sleuthy Live? Waiting to watch with popcorn. I am very, very sorry about that. There's a lot of reasons for that. The main reason is because there's one person who I respect like a whole lot. He was a big YouTuber. You guys all know him. I just don't want to mention him because he showed me a lot of examples and a lot of what I would say is proof that True Crime Maria is sleuthy goosey. And he just doesn't want me to mention it. He doesn't want me to bring him up. He wants to stay out of it. And I'm kind of torn in between that because on one hand, you're supposed to do what's right and, back up your friends. And on the other point, if this man doesn't want any unnecessary drama, might as well not do it. But there's a lot of other reasons too. I might leave it up forever just so she can see that it's scheduled. I'm sure it makes her shit her pants. But we're going to do something. I'm not exactly entirely quite sure yet, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep doing this. Drama unfolds as Greeno returns as evidence is hidden. I didn't see this. And it's an open panel. That might be the best kind of panel to watch. Let me just go and we'll find a place to watch where people are talking and having a good old time. We'll see if it's possible.
Moment forward.
For more property.
We finally meet. You need in order for you to come up with the information that you need.
Let's
He
see.
accomplished those by going into detail on each aspect.
I can help you gather information.
Jesus.
This is the edited and stabilized video released by law enforcement. That is the
Okay,
glitch.
I'm just going to play about
And
3
this-
minutes from here.
Down the hill. Slow steps on the rickety high bridge.
Jesus.
Shadows stretch where the cold winds ridge. A whisper lingers heavy with
Did you just say fupa, Polly?
Ghost unseen, but his words are bread. He's hiding in plain sight, watching.
I wonder where the panel is that he had. I'm sure he did. I think he did more than one video, so we'll go ahead and check that one out if it comes up. Trying to get the most interesting stuff that's kind of straight to the point, but it's hard to do that. Sorry about the diarrhea over there, Crystal. Shit happens, you know? Let's see. Bruce McGuire, Travis Trexler. Isn't Travis Trexler related? Yeah, related to the Keegan Kline thing. Boy. Only because it's 51 minutes, I don't think we'll do it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're going to find a good one. God, these people. The hell is going on here? Hey, look, it's Noe kicking a soccer ball. Hashtag Delphi Murders. What the fuck? Hey, who's that guy with the tinfoil hat on? What an idiot. See, what the fuck is this? Do you see Kelsey's lying face? These are the people that make me want to use the R word. Lisa, good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Kelsey's role in the murder. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't this just something else? This has got to be schizophrenia. I don't know what else it would be. I don't know what it would be. Okay, here's somebody named Shadow Sleuth. And they say they're exposing the use of subliminals in the photograph. Who knows what that means? Because I don't. Let's watch it, though. Tampered photograph with use of subliminals. What do you mean subliminals? Like a subliminal message? Are they subliminally telling us something? Jesus. There are secrets in this photo. I don't know. People say that Libby is crying and she has tears coming out, and Abby looks scared. To me, Abby looks a little tired, and Libby's just taking a selfie. I guess somebody should arrest them, even though they're dead. I mean, this shit just makes no sense with these people. Okay, we got a case rundown by Case Rundown. That's her channel name. Let's go ahead and see how she pronounces Delphi.
Probably the most terrifying video I've ever seen in my life has surfaced online recently, and that is the video in the case of the Delphi murders, i.e. the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German.
I told you she was going to say Delphi. I just knew it. You know it. You know it. That's an instant pass. Okay. The prof, he's a channel we're gonna definitely stay away from that. When you watch channels like the prof, you can see his chat just scrolling down like at the speed of light. People are saying, "Oh, Kelsey is a fat bitch. Oh, the girls are gonna get what's coming to them. Becky is such an old hag. She killed her granddaughter, blah, blah, blah." It's a trash community. It's trash. Jeez. We'll play a snippet here of Cryptex's live stream with Phoenix, I think is their name. Let's find a moment in here where they're talking Delphi, and I think it might be a good channel to watch. Maybe they might say something that opens up your
Thank you guys in the chat.
Your ears.
I don't know the answer what their level of access was, but I mean the bottom line is if the state doesn't make a big deal about it, you don't make a big deal about it. I mean, I do think that they should have made a big deal about it, but that's only probably if they're not exactly the same blood. Because that really, like, kind of, if they're not a match, that really kind of throws off the connection, you know?
So yeah, like I think this might be a good part of the video. We can watch another 10 minutes or so, and we can see Cryptex and this other guy give their opinions. I wanted to say thank you for coming. Anybody that I missed, I see Jinx has shown up. Welcome, Jinx. I've seen you around the community for a while, but I did never meet you. So glad to meet you. Glad you're here. Again, anybody I missed, that's my bad.
Yeah, I got it.
I mean, I think that the other thing is that, like, you know, I mean, say in the event that it was planted, I mean, you could potentially have called Kathy on as a witness and says, you know, never seen that keepsake box. It wasn't in my house, you know, like that, you know, I'm familiar with that keepsake box. There was never a bullet in there, you know. I dust and clean, and like that bullet just wasn't in there. So where did it come from then? But again, if they don't make a big deal about it, they don't really need to do that.
Jinx, I don't know why, but that might scare me a little bit. Are you that one person who almost fought Julie not too long back? If you are, then I do know you. Love you. I don't know who you are, though, probably. Pretty kind of funny. Sim says, I have learned what a fupa is. The word does not exist in my language. Thank you for that. Well, if you don't know what a fupa is, never mind. I was going to tell you to look up a different word, but no one needs to know what a grundle is.
J. Ray is talking about .22 caliber. I don't remember that. There was something related to a .22 caliber here.
I don't know. There were a few random guns that they did like have. I don't know what the point of that was. I don't know. There's just like things that they found in the creek and whatnot. So I think that, you know, obviously I don't know. I don't have that in front of me as far as the details of all those things that they pulled and sent to the lab. But I mean, I guess they probably wouldn't do anything with that, like, because it's not what you're looking for. I think the significance was some of the stuff was pulled out of the that direct area, like from the Deer Creek, which is crazy that there's a number of guns just in that creek. You typically don't want to lose your guns in the creek.
Yeah. And if I remember properly, when they said that there was a match between the Richard Allen's bullet or gun, let's say, with the bullet that was found at the crime scene, it was not possible to discard either the Brad Weber's gun and Ron Logan's gun. It's like the bullet matched a lot of guns. It's crazy, huh?
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing with the tool mark analysis.
So I don't know if people are mixing some things up or just don't fully understand. I'm one of those people. I try to explain to the best of my ability, but I can't. I do not think that the bullet would have matched Weber's gun or Ron Logan's gun. I think it might have been able to fit into the gun. He might have been able to use the bullet, but it wouldn't have matched if he had ejected that bullet. The tool marks are not going to match for Brad Weber and Ron Logan. You guys correct me wrong in the chat if you can. I think that's what he was getting at, but I'm not really sure. We're going to play 3 more minutes and then we'll move on to the next video.
The matching scratching is I mean, it doesn't really work. So and it definitely didn't work when they tried it with Richard Allen's gun, because they didn't do an unspent round versus an unspent round, because when they did that, they didn't get anything.
Right.
And then use that.
You have another good friend here. Does Finn think Richard Allen is innocent?
I have not seen evidence that convinces me that he's guilty.
And see, there are still people out there. They're not convinced of Richard Allen's guilt, and I don't want to fault them. Of course, it might seem like I do, but I'm only faulting the people who are calling Richard Allen innocent. I'm not faulting the people who aren't convinced of his guilt yet, and I think there's a strong distinction between the two kinds of people who yell Richard Allen is innocent or I just need more evidence, I'm not convinced. Luckily, they had, the trial where they had a whole bunch of jurors who came from all different walks of life, and they got the case from start to finish in a controlled courtroom. So if it's enough for them, definitely enough for me. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. My goodness. I really want to click on these, but I just can't. It'd be nice to laugh or something, but they're just, you can't reason with that shit. Okay. Shadow Sleuth thinks that there's a doppelganger of some sort, but they also think that there was a... What the fuck is this? What is that? What does that mean? Why would you put Abby's head onto a random girl? What the fuck does this mean? Good job, Shadow Sleuth. Good job. You got a special place in hell. That's your reward. Okay, let's keep going. Talking Delphi. Is it safe to talk with a guest? Richard Allen, free Ricky. Sorry. Let's see what they say. I just want to see. I don't know these people. Maybe they won't strike me if I play their shit. We'll have to see.
you end up becoming numb to it, which is terrible, really.
Yeah.
But in terms of affecting my actual life, no, it's fine. I'm not worried about that.
He is guilty.
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, I certainly didn't spend 3 hours going over it because it only takes 5 minutes to read.
It's not that long of a contract. If you talk about Delphi, you're going to get attacked. Well, that shouldn't be, right? I mean, okay, let's just go be really.
Jamie, do you think that R&M is paying people? Do you think that Snay is on the pay? Oh God, I have a hard time believing that people are getting paid to like. I think they're getting paid like by their own like, yeah, I'm the man. I just fucking called him innocent. Like they're not getting paid with money. Maybe they're getting paid with attention from other crappy people. It's hard to believe that Angela is sitting there paying people to do this. It's kind of weird. That's what I think. I think attention is the biggest payment that they get. Yeah. There's a pedicure, bitch? Damn. Glad I haven't been there. Yep, and views. Attention, views. And I think they like the backlash. I think they're drama addicts. Like, they love it when we go on and talk about them. That's what I think. Yeah. Yeah, I bet she, like... there can't be any way. When they roll in with all their troll accounts to sub your channel and give you the watch time hours, you get monetized. I mean, it's kind of like getting paid by them. Yeah, it sounds a lot different when you say it, like generally getting paid. You make it seem like they're like on a payroll or something. Yeah. Attention Angela. Attention Angela, the love bomber. Sounds like she should be in a drama comic. Didn't she pay someone to pose as a journalist and report on edited police documents? Fuck if I know. If you're talking about that documentary, if anything, she was paid to be in it by CW or News Nation or whoever did that. I don't know. See, they all think they're going to go from the CW to Netflix. You just kind of, that's what I was thinking. Jinx says that Amy is exploiting Ashley Garth's father to gain knowledge about locals so she can cover Delphi. Well, good luck with that. I mean, the only thing Ashley Garth is good for is nothing. She's just going to look like a big old dummy. All right. Are these guys going to say anything about the case? Or?
Really clear about this for a minute. What bothers me about this is that I expect to be attacked from people who think that Rick Allen is guilty.
Yep.
I don't love the fact that I'm getting attacked by people who think Rick Allen is innocent.
They claim to think that. I get you, and this is why I was pissed off today. Like, I was tempted to just switch my camera on and go live on my own channel and just read a Wikipedia page out loud about about concern trolls, because that's what's been happening.
Tell us what you think. Go on.
Well,
what would you have said?
So this is the thing. Like all of the gang. I mean, whatever you want to call it, we're all used to dealing with people who've been saying Rick Allen's guilty. You expect that as part and parcel of it, right? But now you've got these, what I'm calling concern trolls, who actually cause a lot of trouble. Like they probably cause more trouble for the process of campaigning than the people who were guilters, because what they will do, if you don't mind, I'm going to read this. It's going to take 2 seconds.
Oh. Yeah, so in fact, do you want to share it to screen?
And these, see, I would never attack her personally. It's just, man, there's nothing wrong with having conversations about why he would or wouldn't be guilty, but when you cross that line and you start calling a child killer innocent, what do you expect? She says that she expects nothing more than that. I guess she knows that it just doesn't make sense unless you like this negative attention. Why would you claim his innocence? There's nothing that would support his innocence. There's nothing. I don't think I'll ever understand it. Poor girl. See, and she looks like a good person. So does he. They both look great. Smart. Just makes you wonder, man. Anthony, good to see you, man. So glad that you're here. Welcome. Go ahead and check him out. She is Hella AU Australia Excited Utterance. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, She Warrior 64. Thank you for popping in. Definitely appreciate you being here. We're just going through all the Delphi Murders videos that were uploaded in the last week, except for a select few hundred. We're going to play this video here from Fig Solves. It was a live stream. It's probably going to be a little bit long, so we'll try to find a portion of the video where he's talking about something relevant, and we'll just play like 10 minutes. And you guys all know who Fig Solves is. If you don't, I'm posting these guys' channels as we go. I didn't get a chance to make it to this live. I don't think I've ever been to a live stream of Figs, but let's check it out.
Minutes worth, but we'll kind of watch these few segments and kind of analyze what's going on, what they're saying, and if they're factual or not, which you'll see they are not very factual at all.
Thank you, Trav. That's really nice of you, bud.
Okay, so let me know if this plays. Yeah, the Jerry Springer on Zoom of Delphi.
Uh-oh.
Let me know if you guys can hear the sound.
I saw a piece. Is that the prof's head in there? Can't wait to watch. I'd like to.
So Mike McCutcheon and Barb, they're the two that were on this episode. You're able to hear that volume okay?
The prof is the Grundle of YouTube.
Okay, so then we'll have Barb. She's going to give her
Grundle.
Opinion of
favorite word
interrogation. So they didn't show the confessions yet, not the phone calls. So far, we're just going to be looking at her response to the interrogations. Okay, I'll get the volume.
There we go.
I got to remove this one first. Okay. There we go. I'm a noob. Okay, here we go.
Robert McDonald is here.
Oh, his name is Dr. Mike. That looked like the prof when I was looking. I don't know why. Maybe just his glasses. It looks like he has a little ponytail in there. Ah, boy.
And retired police officer after 2 decades, expert in police interviews and suspect body language. He now trains investigators. Dr. Mike McCutcheon is with.
He's very calm for somebody who has struggled with anxiety for most of his life. I was really struck in both of these interrogation videos by how calm he is and consistent in his denials. Vinny?
All right, Dr. Mike McCutcheon.
Well, I need to tell you something anyway.
Okay. Are you sure you want to talk to me over the phone?
I think I have to.
Okay.
I need you to know that I did this.
What?
Oh, you're muted, Fig. Fig, you're muted. Just kidding. He's not live, you guys.
I was really struck in both of these interrogation videos by how calm he is and consistent in his denials. Vinny?
All right, Dr. Mike McCutcheon.
Well, I need to tell you something anyway.
Okay. Are you sure you want to talk to me over the phone?
I think I have to.
Okay.
I need you to know that I did this.
What? No. No, you didn't, dear. There's no way. There's no way, dear.
Love me.
Dear, there's no way.
So that's one of the alleged confessions in all this that the jury believed, which brings us to the next question in our investigation, because we've heard the denials as well. Which is more credible, Richard Allen's denial or confession? Still with us, Barbara McDonald and Dr. Mike McCutcheon. All right, Barbara, give us some context surrounding these confessions, these jailhouse call confessions, especially this first one.
Yeah, so that happened on May the 10th of 2023 after he had been in custody for nearly 6 months. And this was about a month after he had been diagnosed as being psychotic and had received his first involuntary injection of an antipsychotic medication about 3 weeks prior to this phone call being made.
I'm only hopping in to say, one of my friends reached out to me recently, and we talked on the phone. You guys probably know him. In the chat, he goes by from the 3021. He's an Aussie guy. So, and again, people thought that he was me. People thought that he was other accounts, but he's a real dude from Australia, just so you know. And he's one of those people I was talking about. You know, they're smart, good people, but they're just not quite convinced of the Richard Allen's guilt, which, again, thankfully, it's not up to us and it's already been decided in the court of law. But one of the things that he brought up was, well, all of Richard Allen's confessions were months after the arrest, or his first confessions were like in this month. So they think that he confessed too late and there was all this time to for corruption and stuff. So I think that this might be a good answer for him. Seems like it's headed that way for Fig to tell us a little bit about that.
The day after this phone call was made, in the prison logs, they reported him as being paranoid and depressed and hopeless. And his condition had not improved from that first Haldol injection that he received of that medication. He received another one about a week after this phone call. And I think, Vinny, you have another clip we're going to play in that phone.
Okay, so pay attention to these. All right, let's debunk her. So let's do this. Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Present, share screen, turn your screen. We're gonna go screen one. Okay, so with this, let's see. All right, we'll play it again, but keep these dates in mind. So she said that Rick Allen confessed, or these calls weren't until 6 months after he's been locked up. And since he was locked up, let's call it October 31st, 2022, like that. Those calls were actually, yeah, she's right there, about 6 months. If they happen, you know, November 1st. And then when those calls actually started happening, was in April 3rd. So yeah, 5 months away. So she's saying since he's been in there for 5 months, she's trying to make the case that that's why he's confessing. But of course, she skips over on March 5th, 2023, when Rick said, "I'm ready to officially confess for killing Abby and Libby." He said,
I'm sorry to interrupt. That's just another really huge. It's a little part of what did it for me on, of course, believing that Richard Allen is guilty is right at the beginning. Look at the dates on it. That was back right after he got arrested. He sent a letter to the warden and he says, I'm at the mercy of the courts, you know, and he was guilty. He didn't say he didn't kill the girls. He never said he didn't kill the girls. This whole time he's been locked up, he's been a guilty, remorseful piece of crap, and people just don't want to see it.
in a letter to the warden. And he already said some incriminating things even before that. So the claim that Barbara is making is that Rick Allen was only going to confess, or is only confessing due to him being in psychosis and the prison conditions. But as you can see from this chart, from, I would say, April 14th to May 2nd, 2023, these are the dates where we could say, all right, maybe he was psychosis. This is when he was rubbing feces on himself, doing stuff with the sport, acting all crazy, which a lot think were malingering. He was just faking it. But say he was psychotic during those times, wipe those ones out, and let's see how these other dates line up. What she's saying, if she's being honest or not. There we go.
And again, I'm just reading the chat. I'm not sure exactly to what this was from, but Jamie's saying it's not that they don't want to see it. They can't see it because they're making a lot of money off of it right now. And that might be true for 2 or 3 people, especially people like Barbara McDonald or Vinnie Politan, these big people that are making money off their productions. But people like R&M, Sleuthy Goosey, they're not making money. Monetization on YouTube is not what it cracks up to be. You have to do live streams, and you have to do them every day, and you have to get donations rolling in nonstop. The prof, he's making a lot of money, like you say. The prof is making a lot of money on live streams by saying this shit, but people just aren't making money. There's not a lot of money to be had. It's all negative attention and just bullshit. I don't think people understand. You have to do a lot to make good money on YouTube, and there's not that many people who are doing this crazy shit that are making money off of it. Maybe Prof. I don't know who else, but yeah. I like this chart he put together. That really puts into perspective. You can't say that he only confessed because of his prison issues or whatever. So, all right, we're going to keep moving. Let's see what else we got here. The Unsolved. Familiar face.
Hello, everyone. And on today's video, I want to discuss something that's been bothering me for a long time. That's people who continue to persist that there was somebody else waiting at the bottom of the hill when the suspect, bridge guy, alleged to be Richard Allen, who's been convicted of this crime, marched teenagers Abigail Williams and Liberty German, quote, down the hill in Delphi, Indiana, in rural Indiana on February 13th, 2017. A lot of people continue to claim that either maybe Keegan Klein or somebody else was waiting at the bottom of the hill. And I'd like to largely, if not completely, debunk that. And how do we know this? Well, it's because of the cell phone footage that Liberty German heroically took that probably was the reason this crime was solved. First, let's look at the area that we're dealing with, okay? You look right here, and there's the Monon High Bridge. It goes over Deer Creek, and then it goes to what's known as the Private Drive, or County Road North 625 West, which is where the Monon High Bridge ends. And then the girls were marched down the hill, across that private drive, across Deer Creek, where they met their end, unfortunately. Now, Liberty German took 43 seconds of cell phone video, and I took still photos from that video in order to emphasize my point. If you take a look here, this is one of the still frames from Liberty German's video. And if you look, you can see the private drive, and on the left would be where the bridge hangs over the private drive, and on the right would go to someone's residence. Okay.
Yeah, The Unsolved is a great channel, all fact-based. He speculates very responsibly. Just a good channel to watch. If you guys haven't checked it out, check out The Unsolved. Promise you guys you won't be disappointed. Could promise you that. Just want to say hello to Mommy Wolverine, the Real Dragon, and Mr. Delphi Dummies, or Mrs. Delphi Dummies, whoever you are. It's a great pleasure. Thanks for popping in today. Appreciate it.
Okay. You notice where they were marched down the hill right here. There's nobody waiting at the bottom of the private drive whatsoever. A few seconds later, she cuts the video real quickly off to the right, closer to the private residence, and you get about another 20 to 25 or more yard span that shows there's nobody else waiting over there either. See, this is off further to the right and to the east, and you see there's no car there, there's no person there in either single, like in either of these, okay? There's nobody waiting there. Now, is it possible that somebody is parked underneath the bridge on the private drive or waiting under the bridge? Sure, it's possible. Is it likely? No, because until now, or up to this time, we've never found any sort of conclusive or definitive evidence that shows that anybody else participated in this crime. Although I will have a video later in this week discussing the possibility that these two girls still could have been catfished by a second person, or that a second person could have been involved. And as Detective Jerry Holman has said with the Indiana State Police, he just doesn't have any evidence to prove that, even if it had happened. So again, I just wanted to throw this out there for everybody to see, these still photos, and just kind of debunk the fact that there was somebody directly waiting at the bottom of the hill for these two girls, because the evidence that we have so far does not seem to show that that's the case at all. Thanks for watching, everybody.
You're welcome on behalf of me and all the chillers. Okay, we're getting there, guys. We are freaking getting there. Let's go ahead and see where we're at. Yeah, we're pretty close. This is one of the main videos that I wanted to watch. The exhibits from the trial have been slowly coming out since last week, couple weeks ago. Tom Webster being the first to get his hands on the prison calls, the interrogations. Crime Circus had the interrogation as well. Big shout out to Tom Webster for not watermarking and just not acting like he owns the whole thing. Super cool guy. This comes from Turbo Uncloaked, and she got access to some of the other exhibits, which should be really good. Let's check it out.
New evidence exhibits have been released for convicted child killer Richard Allen. Allen took the young lives of victims Liberty German and Abigail Williams on February 13th, 2017. My friend Teddy and I attended the trial in Delphi, Indiana, and we heard testimony from two of the juvenile witnesses who saw Bridge Guy that day, and we did a full recap of that testimony. I will include the link in the description of this video. On the stand, witness Rayleigh Voorhees and Brianne Wilbur gave very compelling testimony regarding the man they saw that day. We also heard from witness Betsy Blair, whose Fitbit data corroborated her testimony for times when she was at the trails twice that day. On her second trip, she witnessed Libby and Abby heading to the bridge, and she also confirmed the man she saw on the first platform was the man in the photos that law enforcement released from the 43-second video of Libby's phone taken right before their murders. Allen put himself on the bridge that day during the times that these witnesses saw the killer at the trails. Some of the exhibits presented to the jury that ultimately convicted Allen of these crimes were photos taken by these witnesses. Also newly released are the evidence photos that Sheriff Tony Liggett took at the CVS pharmacy in Delphi where Allen worked. 9 seconds of video were captured on the Who's Your Harvester video camera for a vehicle that matched the 2016 black Ford Focus that Allen drove. Other new exhibits released by reporter Susan Hendricks from Headline Crime Today show exhibits entered on day 6 of trial when Detective Vito was on the stand. You can view the results of items taken during the executed search warrant of Ellen's home on October 13, 2022 on her channel. Those exhibits include the .40 caliber Sig Sauer gun, the unspent round that was found in his memory box that was similar to the unspent round recovered at the crime scene. A Carhartt jacket was also recovered, and she released new images of Allen taken at the High Bridge in 2016. I will include a link.
Hey, I'll be frank. Are you Frank Meister? Or are you the different Frank? Or a different Frank? I think I know 3 of them. Who are you, Frank? No, I'm just kidding, man. Let's check out this picture. It's kind of insane. What do you guys think about looking at that now? Just look at him. Okay, it's the Frank Meister. Good deal, good deal. Thanks for coming in, man. I never know. You know how it is. Back in the day, you didn't have that same name, and then you were the Frank Meister, then True Crime with Marvin Frank, and you just never know these days. Man. Wait, it isn't? Or it is? Now I'm confused. You son of a bitch, Polly Walnuts. You got me. You got me damn good. Okay, British Frank. I never met a British Frank. Welcome. British Frank. Oh, you jokers. Dude, you're busting my nads over here, man. Come on. Yeah, he totally looks like Bridge Guy in this photo. Not gonna lie. Just look at him. Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. He's not Frank Meister already. He's the British version. All right. Not too bad. Thanks to Turbo Uncloaked for releasing that. That's really cool. All right, what else do we got, guys? Not too much left. We're going to play Sleuth Intuition. I came to this live stream, so that's cool. He talks about this. The email history was released. That was one of the exhibits. And Richard Allen did a search for the movie Hard Candy. I watched it back in the day. I've watched it a few times since. I'm a fan of the movie and an even bigger fan of Patrick Wilson. Ellen Elliott Page, not so much, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and see if we can get to a point where he's kind of discussing this, and then we'll play it for 10 minutes.
Tool. It's a very powerful tool. You know, technology in general is a great tool. That's why when it comes to online predators, you have to realize they're so advanced. Like, they're probably beginning to hack people's televisions at this point. You know what I mean? Just spying on people through their TVs and shit. And by the time we figure it out, you know, they're already on to the next thing. Fucking spying on us through our refrigerators or something. Through our vacuums, our smart vacuums. What's up, Candace B?
Right.
His wife told
He's
Holman
good, man.
in front of Rick that she would take a polygraph.
Totally.
Well, she's already told everything that she knows. I don't think there's anything more. She went to work. She shouldn't know anything, right? She wakes up early in the morning at about 6, goes to work, gets off at 5:30, comes home, Rick's asleep on the couch. Everything of significance happened the time that she was away. So of course she's going to take a lie detector test. She doesn't know anything. And everything that she did know, like him saying that he wasn't on the bridge, she said it. The people that I want to hear from are the people that he was with in Peru, his mother. I want to know why he was in Peru and if he stayed the night in Peru. And why did he drive to Peru just to drive right back? It's kind of interesting that his defense team didn't bring any of that up at all. Like, we still don't know. Crazy. What's up, Don Spain? Candace, good to see you.
Pretty darn interesting. He brought in a few clips of the movie. I want to look at that where he goes over. Okay, here we go. He's going to show clips, a few tidbits of the actual movie, and then talk about it. So
Something stupid to impress a girl? Does that deserve being tied up and tortured?
Asked my friend if she'd help me castrate a guy, and well, she made all these like ooky sounds, like I was asking her to swallow worms or something. Okay, halfway through, over the hump.
Can't you stop?
So juicy. It needs its own little cubbyhole.
So I thought that was interesting too. She's like, I can't find any porn. I can't find any CSAM or anything around here. Basically saying, well, you must have a cubbyhole for this, a hiding spot. I wonder if the same thing is true for Richard Allen.
did I say Norwegian? What the hell was I talking about? I meant the other one that starts with an N. What's that one? New Zealand. Norway. I'm Norwegian. Maybe it was stuck in my subconscious. Man.
Welcome in Strange Exchange. Hard candy was quality. The girl getting revenge on the pedal. Yeah, that's the satisfying part of it. That's what makes this whole movie twisted, you know? Because part of you, there's a satisfaction there. But then again, it's like a vigilante justice and torture, you know? The lack of humanity is the most disturbing part of it all.
So what do you guys think? Because just looking up those movies in itself, not that damning at all. But when you take into account what he was charged for and what he was found guilty of, then all these little things, when you look in retrospect, everything kind of starts to jump out even more. I think he was a sick motherfucker. That's all that I really know from watching that. But I don't know. I watch the same stuff, but it doesn't mean that I'm out there being a predator. You know, people can watch those movies, and in it of itself doesn't mean anything. And Sleuth mentioned that, even though, you know, how hardcore of a movie it was. Yeah, the timing of it all. Yeah, right before and after looking up Should I Die Now? It's kind of insane. Okay, what else do we got? Haunting drone view of Delphi's Monon High Bridge. I don't think we need to play that. Criminality TV, just talking about her. If you guys haven't seen on my channel, Sleuthy Goosey was on Criminality's live stream and she accidentally turned her webcam on, and then she looked like the Hunchback of Notre Dame mixed with the villain from the 101 Dalmatians, Carmela DeVille, whatever the hell. Anyway, so I put it on my channel so you guys can go see that thing happen. Ugh. It's like a jump scare video, kind of. Disclaimer. Michelle After Dark seems to think that Rick Allen is innocent. Truth Revealed. Not sure who they are. His name is Sergio Dinaro. How Richard Allen was set up. I gotta hear this.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Truth Revealed. I'm Sergio Denaro. Today I have a little bit different episode. It's weighty, and you may need a moment to decompress after watching this. First, we're going to talk about Richard Allen and the Delphi murders. The problem that this case brings up, it's one of those things that you may not realize this systemic problem in society, but once you become aware of it, it becomes something that is going to bother you deeply. There's a fundamental problem with interrogation in general. It's like looking back at the dark ages when doctors used to put leeches on people to try and suck the disease out of them.
So it seems like he's comparing pseudoscience and magical thinking. He's trying to compare magical thinking to how interrogations go. Already I'm a little bit turned off. But what the hell are you going to do? Let's see what he has to say, I guess. Eye of Asparagus, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Knew that there were diseases, kind of like how we know that there are people that have information that we need to get. And we had people that we called doctors back then. And now we have people that we call interrogators. But those doctors didn't know anything about medicine.
You know, back in the day, they probably had the equivalent to lawyers, too. And they were probably fucking wild idiots. He's acting like we don't have doctors today. How about we compare the doctors today to the interrogators? I heard a great analogy from Kevin and Anya of the Murder Sheet. They compared doctors to prosecutors. And they said, hey, do you want a doctor who's going to lie to you and tell you, you know what? You're fine. You don't need any medicine. Just go about your life. Then you drop dead next week. No, you want a doctor who's going to carefully look at you and run tests and EKGs and x-rays, and they're going to make sure that you get put on a regimen so you can get healthier. What the fuck is this guy talking about? No wonder his mom named him Sergio. Just kidding, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with Sergio, but there's definitely something wrong with that guy. Let's get his name out of here. Okay, next. Tony Bruschi. Skip. Court TV. I already watched that. Delphi Murders, newly released evidence. Vinnie Politan. Should we? Nah. I think we've about run out. Okay, I'm going to search without the filter. And we'll go over some stuff that was recent. Maybe not as recent as this week. And we're probably going to get out of here kind of soon. So let's go ahead and see. Again, friendly reminder, you guys feel free to call in, jump on panel, give me your thoughts and opinions. If not, I'm going to find something. Let's see what we got here. One year ago. Don't want to go that far back. We'll go this month. How about that? Okay, we'll see what... I've been hearing lately how biased Court TV has been, so let's see. I haven't seen this one. Jason Voorhees, welcome.
This morning, we're shining a spotlight on incredible new footage obtained in the case of the Delphi murders. We're now able to see the last known photo of Abby Williams and Libby German, the victims in this horrific case. These two are the young children who were murdered by Richard Allen in the year 2017 in Delphi, Indiana. Allen was recently found guilty, you'll recall, and sentenced to spend 130 years in prison. And now, thanks to this newly released evidence, we can also go inside of Richard Allen's case, inside his jail cell, and inside of his interrogation. Take a look.
You're going to pay for what you've done to my wife.
Oh, okay. See, I was just kind of blindly picking. Fig says this is the one lady who isn't biased from Court TV, the only one worth watching. Of course, I picked the one that's not. Of course. We'll watch a different one after. Where's Anjanette Levy from? She's not from Court TV. She's from somewhere else. Crime Fix with Anjanette Levy. I like Anjanette. I have dreams about her.
With me, but you leave my wife out of this. Leave me out of it.
No, you're involved in this. You're around there, Rick.
No, it's
I can
not.
see you're getting off. I
I
understand.
am off. Did you not see my wife?
Did you not see these two girls dead? No, that's what happened. You got off at them, dragging them down a hill, and you killed. You tell me you didn't.
I didn't kill any.
You're upset for a reason, not because
you
of
guys
us.
are trying to
Because
tell
of
me I
you.
killed somebody.
You're trying to tell me that I'm not making this round up, Rick. It is what it is.
I'm done talking. Arrest me.
Happy to.
Oh, fiery exchange right there. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to dig in big time right now. And fortunately, we have a resident case expert here in the studio to help me do that. Barbara McDonald, Court TV, senior producer with our documentary unit, and someone who's followed the case from its inception. You did the Down the Hill podcast on this.
Okay, so Barbara's on here. That's interesting. I think that's a very cool thing. If Julie Grant stands up for the girls here. Very cool. So Barbara haven't seen it yet, but I'm assuming Barbara's trying to push certain things. Yeah, let's take a look.
And so this was one you followed literally start to finish. And now here we are. You just were mailed this piece of evidence.
Yes.
Tell you how fresh this is, my friends. Barbara's still going through it. Look, just got this.
Thumb drive in the mail, snail mail.
Oh my gosh. And it's hours upon hours of
yeah, so it's like
exhibits.
3 hours of interrogation videos. It's probably an hour and 15 minutes or so of confession phone calls. Now, the entire hour and 15 isn't him confessing, but it's the phone calls. And then we got some video, drone video of the trails. We got some photos like of the bullet and the gun that were
Right.
collected and things like that. But we didn't get everything.
Okay.
A lot is not being released. We didn't get any of the crime scene photos, any of the
Sure, I can
graphic
understand that.
images. All of that was held back, and many other files were as well.
Sure. So these are things, now that the case is closed, you can understand members of the media,
Right.
the court is allowing these things to be made public. So you were one of the members who sat in the courtroom during the trial.
Yes.
You wouldn't expect this from somebody like Barbara. It almost is like if she can't see every single piece of evidence that she doesn't believe he's guilty. Like, as a professional, you would think she wouldn't be doing that. It's like she's sinking down to the level of a YouTuber instead of remaining professional, if that makes sense. Really seems like that.
Folks like yourself are receiving these things in the mail this week. Barbara, take us back. A moment ago, we saw that fiery exchange. Give us some context to that, if you would.
So that was
please.
his second interrogation. That happened leading right into his arrest. In fact, just minutes after that, he's arrested and placed in handcuffs. And this was him going in voluntarily to talk to them. He wanted to pick up his car that had been seized in the search warrant 2 weeks prior. And they said, sure, come on down and you can have your car back. So he and his wife show up thinking that they're going to pick up their car. And instead they're told, oh, we just have a couple of quick questions for you.
So she's acting like they set him up. Like he was so voluntarily doing everything to help, and then they fucked him over. She's already kind of putting that seed there, and it's just not true. If Richard Allen was really as helpful and voluntary as everybody thinks, wouldn't he have helped a lot in the days right after the murder? Just going to a conservation officer and saying something here, that's not being voluntarily helpful. He got what he wanted. He got lost in the tips because he did such a shitty job of giving his first tip.
and led into interrogation rooms.
Okay, so this is helpful. So this is after, and he cooperated way back when he talked to police. I remember we knew
Back in
that.
2017, he said, I'd been out at the trails.
Sure.
He said, I didn't see Abby or Libby, but I was out there that day.
He put him.
And again, he said he was on the trails. He didn't say he was on the bridge, which we now know he was on the bridge. He was definitely on the bridge. They even brought that up in the interrogation himself, and he's sitting there trying to tell his wife is trying to make sense of it. Like, you can tell his wife is like, wait, you can only imagine what she's thinking to herself.
Himself there, which was always something, I know just as someone following it as closely as I could, having not seen the trial like you did, that was always big for me. The other big thing for me was the confession to his wife. We have an audio clip of this. This was huge. Let's take a listen to him admitting to doing it.
Well, I need to tell you something anyway.
Okay. Are you sure you want to talk to me over the phone?
I think I have to.
Okay.
I need you to know that I did this.
What? No. No, you didn't, dear. There's no way. There's no way, dear.
Love me.
There it is, the confession. Barbara, for anybody that had any doubt, that really puts it to bed, hearing the confession come from his mouth. His wife's in denial, but he is not. Was that a moment for the jury? Did you see any reactions, if you recall?
The jury was quite stoic during the playing of these calls. They were paying attention, but it was hard to tell which way they were leaning. It is important to note, though, when that call was made, it was about a month after he'd been diagnosed as being psychotic, and about 3 weeks after he'd been given the first dose of an antipsychotic medication. The prison logs indicated that that course of treatment hadn't yet started to work. And he was given another course of that treatment a week after that phone call was made. And he was also in solitary confinement in a maximum security prison. So,
and like you guys just saw 20 minutes ago, thanks to Fig there, did a great chart for us with dates, everything that was said, and the facts were there. That's ridiculous. Barb is only making this appearance to try to sway some more of the main media towards his innocence. That's ridiculous. Right? So dishonest. Lying, man. I'm honest. What shocks you guys the most? Like the most out of just this video? The most thing that shocks me is thinking about like the early days of the case and how much Kelsey German was getting heard. Kelsey was kind of like the voice for the case, and she would always go to Barb or Susan. And it seems like Barb and Kelsey had a good relationship. I can only imagine how Kelsey would feel just looking at Barbara come and do something like this. Like, right after the trial, it's their time to start recovering, which is something you can never recover from. And there's Barbara being barbaric. Barbaric Barbara. Yikes.
you know, one could argue that his conditions contributed to his mental decline. He also lost a tremendous amount of weight in jail, about 80 or 90 pounds at one point.
I remember you telling us about this, that he was eating his papers.
He was
at the
eating
time of his
papers, he
cell
was
and-
eating his own waste, he was banging his head into the cell, a lot of really disturbing behavior that led to that diagnosis.
I would love to, I don't think we have a lot of time to spend on this, but curious, did the state push back on that? Did they say he was feigning it?
They said that the period of psychosis was shorter and that by the time he was making these calls, he was no longer psychotic, was their version of the events. The defense did put on a psychologist, a forensic psychologist, who said that no, she believed he still was psychotic at the time. So
Interesting.
The jury
Not
clearly
only
went with the
experts there.
state.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes me kind of angry. What a dummy. That is so ridiculous. There's a lot of different reasons why somebody would go into psychosis, not to mention pre-existing mental problems he could have had. But Vig just says, I just read some psychological research studies on how guilt can lead to psychological problems. So the study shows it's fair to say that the fact he was guilty and caught is what made him act crazy. That makes complete sense. And I'm not saying solitary confinement, I'm saying isolated. When you're isolated like that, I could totally see him acting out ridiculous. And I think it was V, you said earlier that he had 6 years to practice all of this. It didn't mean much. The interrogations themselves, that's not how an innocent person acts. If you watch Ewu Crew, there's tons of type in innocent versus guilty interrogation, and they'll give you an innocent person and a guilty person side by side. You could totally tell the difference. Rick was definitely on the guilty side. Oh man, what a letdown. Such a letdown. All right, I think that might be it, guys. I'll try to find one more video. We'll do one more, and then I'll get out of here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we'll play this one. This one looks like a good one. Lower views, and hopefully it's not all AI.
It was supposed to be just another ordinary day.
It's AI.
Two best friends.
Actually, no, I think I have one that I want to play, as long as it's not uploaded by someone who I don't know of. There was an interview with Andrew Baldwin, right? Ah, man. Is this really the only place I could watch it? I don't think I'm going to be able to play it. I got some plans for the Defense Diaries, and I can't play their stuff just to keep the channel safe. In a few weeks, they're probably going to want to strike me really bad, so I don't want to give them something that they can. I'll just play this one. Oldie. This is old, but we can look at it. No, this is here. Okay, there we go. We'll play this one and we'll get out of here.
For the first time since the Delphi Murders trial, we are hearing from Richard Allen's attorneys. A jury found, as you know, Allen guilty of those murders back in November. A judge then sentenced Allen to 130 years in prison.
Now, Allen's attorneys are speaking on TV for the first time since the gag order in the case was lifted. CBS 4's Russ McQuaid has the first part of our exclusive interview.
When Judge Fran Gall sentenced Richard Allen to 130 years in prison last month for the murders of Abby and Libby in 2017, she lifted her 2-year-old gag order.
Oops.
Immediately, the state police, the prosecutor, and the families took advantage of that freedom to speak. Now it's the defense team's turn.
In the same Franklin law firm conference room where key trial evidence was illicitly copied and then leaked to social media posters, Andrew Baldwin and Jennifer Auger sat down to answer questions about their defense of Richard Allen, what the jury decided, the prosecutor and police claimed, the judge ruled, and the questions they asked and didn't ask. The attorneys defended their conduct, saying it was the state, not them, who came up with an alternate theory that Odinism could have played a role in the girls' murders, that their complaints about leaks coming from the prosecutor and the police and the judge's staff were never investigated, that Allen's dozens of confessions from inside prison were the result of illegal incarceration, not a sense of guilt. that they've been unfairly slandered by police for their vigorous defense of their client, and that the jury's guilty verdict did not serve justice because they think the wrong man's in jail.
There is no justice for Abby Williams and Liberty German if you convict the wrong person. All of that does is double the tragedy, double the injustice. If Richard Allen is not guilty, there are still killers out there. That's not justice.
There's missing evidence all over the place, and it's not just missing, it's missing evidence of the things that of the third-party suspect evidence. It's always focused on that.
You've got a jury, you have 2 young girls who were violently murdered, and the jury wants to convict someone. They want to feel like they've done their job.
Okay, so they say that it wasn't the defense, it was the state who brought up the Odinism thing. They're just cleverly wording that. Of the state didn't bring it out. It was something that they had a tip about, so they went through the tip diligently and they researched and they did all this with Brad Holder and everything. Here's my question. If you're the prosecutors or the investigators and you're investigating this Odinism thing and you see that Brad Holder has an alibi and that he's not guilty, is it really out of line to throw that away? I mean, how are you supposed to know that in 6 years the defense is gonna want those documents so they can use it against the killer that you find? I don't think that's at all malicious. I just don't understand it. Barb gave Ron Logan COVID. That's what happened. He was mowing his lawn peacefully. Barb came up with her thirst. She was thirsty and wearing her clothing, and Ron got he got taken advantage of. Okay, one more video and then we'll get out. It was requested by Jinx, and it's by Deb's True Crime Notebook. Richard Allen's jacket, whatever that means. Let's check it out.
Welcome back to Deb's True Crime Notebook. It's been a minute. I've missed you guys. I hope you've missed me too. You know, sometimes you just have to take a break from things. It becomes too much. This case is very dark, and there are a lot of people that are very dark in it. And sometimes you just have to take a break, walk away, and do things that add light to your life. And that's what I've been doing. So what we're doing today is we're taking a look at something that I saw in a Facebook group. And I am in a lot of Facebook groups because that's what you do. If you like to sleuth, if you are a creator, you are in multiple Facebook groups so that you can find information and try to compare it with the facts that you receive. So in one of those Facebook groups, someone posed the question, or the thought rather, that the bridge guy picture on the bridge that zoomed in could not possibly be the Carhartt jacket that they took from Richard Allen's home. One of the exhibits that's recently been released, it is a blue jacket with a Carhartt tag. And the reason they say it couldn't be is because they said there's no evidence in that picture of the white Carhartt tag that runs alongside or close to the zipper. And so what I'd like to do today is compare the two, bring you along with me, and we will see if there is anything that could possibly be that tag in the picture.
It's quite interesting. I love to do this type of thing myself, but I get pareidolia too easily. It's just how I am, so I just stay away from it. However, Richard Allen's goatee ended up looking like a cat coming out of his jacket, like a freaking ghost, like a apparition. How could they say that there's no Carhartt emblem if it looks like everything is distorted and grainy and pixelated? They'll say anything, I guess.
So let's get started. Now, what you're looking at is a comparison between Bridge Guy on the left and the Carhartt jacket that was removed from Richard Allen's home during the search. So the jacket on the right, which is the one that was taken from his home, has a white Carhartt tag right next to where the zipper area is. And you can clearly see that in this picture on the right side. But is it also on the left? What do you think? So in red, you see circled the Carhartt tag. Take a nice, good look at it. The shape is a rectangle, obviously. It's, I don't know, it looks like about an inch from the zipper line if the zipper was zipped all the way up, maybe a little bit more. It's white, got a little bit of gold in the middle. Of course, the gold part probably wouldn't be able to be seen from that distance, but just take a good look at it. So what you're looking at now is the jacket of Bridge Guy from the Bridge video.
Hey, I totally believe what Deb is saying right now. And who said he didn't have a goatee? Was that you, Polly Walnuts? I think he had a goatee at that time. I think that white thing, that smoke apparition that looks like a question mark, I think that's his goatee.